Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. Monday night. I hope that you had a great weekend. It was wonderful here on the Oregon coast, and it's so good to see you guys. Again, I apologize for the camera on my laptop. It seems I can never get it to lighten up. So if I appear a little dark, it's the laptop. But I'm so glad you're here. And I got to tell you, I'm excited about this call tonight. It's fired me up. This call has fired me up. And I left a message this morning on the Team Up Facebook page. And you know how the conversation everywhere is, we have to level up, we have to level up, we have to level up. Well, my friends, before we can level up, we have to emotionally fire up. And I think that's what's missing right now. And we can go back to, let's go back to just like, 3 years ago when we were told, you got to be careful about your story and don't make claims and all the restrictions. And I think we took that too far. We took it so far that people were afraid to tell their stories. And then of course, COVID hit. And then, and I don't know why I'm seeing Kathy instead of me, but that's okay. COVID hit. And once again, we went into paralysis. And there was reason for that. We didn't know what was going on. We went into paralysis, though we stopped telling our story. We stopped sharing Juice Plus. And then, of course, all of the corrections to all things digital. And, we were concerned and in case it's angry, and I get that, but all things are starting to work themselves up and work out now. And so now it's a time to fire up. And I was thinking back to like when I got started in this business, yes, we had a cassette tape. And we popped that cassette tape into our cars and we listened to it everywhere we went. And we sent cassette tapes to everybody and we had them listen to it in their cars. Then we got sophisticated and it was the DVDs. But you see where I'm going here is that our cars became Juice Plus universities. And we listened and and today, 30 years later or 25 years later, my children can parrot back to you Mitra Ray, Sidney Krakauer, Richard Du Bois. My kids can parrot that back. And it's sunk deep because they lived their lives according to the messages that they heard on those recordings. So here we have available to us all of these new recordings, like the one we're going to listen to tonight. Why can't we be listening to that in our cars as we're driving around? And have our speaker on so that our children can hear these amazing messages so that we can continue to feed and nurture our next generation. We can do that. It doesn't have to be in a cassette or a DVD. We have all this available to us. So I'm saying this week's message, as you're out and about driving around the Metroplex or on the East Coast or the West Coast, be playing this message from Debbie Walton. I'm going to tell you right now, I learned more about brain health by watching this, okay? Listen to it in its entirety. And I hope you have paper and pen ready because she is about to go into education with you in a big way. All right? Peace and blessings. Here we go. Debbie Walton.
We are so thankful that you are on tonight. I think this is a critically important topic, and I hope that at the end, you are so happy that you gave us a half hour of your valuable time. If there's ever been a time to look at what we can do for brain cognitive health, staying functionally healthy, memory, clear thinking, and mental health, I think that you would agree that this is the time. I am Debbie Walton. I've been in the fitness wellness business for 45 years. I've been in nutrition. I went back to South Carolina in the master's program for nutrition 35 years ago, mostly to trump disease that was in my family tree. I was looking for answers, and now I'm certified in plant-based nutrition through Cornell.
I'll be back in a moment. Don't know why it's not.
You think it's your Wi-Fi, Kathy?
Well, we're all doing just fine. Just a minute, Terry. Sorry about that.
If not, let's see if Pamelia can stream it.
That's fine. If Pamelia can, let's do it.
Give me a second, guys. Let me see. Pamelia, are you there? Well, if
I mean,
Pamelia,
I've brought it up again. Let's see if we can do it again.
okay, let's see if we can do it.
Okay, everybody, I was looking for answers, and now I'm certified in plant-based nutrition through Cornell. I love the study of what we can take control of. And very shortly, in just a few minutes, you're going to hear from a super young pediatric clinical pharmacist, Katie Keene, and you will hear her passion and why she is electing to share the information on this Zoom. As far as brain health goes, science is advancing super rapidly, you guys, and that is a great thing because there is so much that it is showing that we can do. And, you know, the early onset dementia, we actually have a friend that got Alzheimer's in his 40s, ended up in the nursing home, I believe in his 40s, and passed away in his early 60s from Alzheimer's. There's unprecedented anxiety, depression, ADHD, and Medicaid, hang on to this, spends more money on antipsychotic drugs than any other drug classification. That is pretty shocking. And over 500,000 children in the US take an antipsychotic drug. That's from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. 70% of Americans take at least one prescription, and we are living longer, but really hang on to this. We are actually living healthy 2 years shorter than decades prior. That is from How Not to Die by Dr. Greger. What if there were some simple things that we could do to improve the odds of living healthier, longer, and enjoying better brain function and mental health? Isn't that worth exploring? You know, mental health is part of our physical health. We are wonderfully and fearfully made. And so everything that you do for your body, you are doing for your brain. What you eat affects your body, it affects your brain. And there should be no stigma to mental health issues. The brain is just, I think, our most important organ. So it is going to be affected by your lifestyle. And you're going to hear tonight just how much. And so we know that exercise is good for everything. I'm a master personal trainer, and I teach simple exercise that gets great results. We know that it's good for everything. It's been shown to be really good for mental health. And here's the great news, that something as simple as walking, especially outside, there's a new term coined, nature bathing. Have you bathed in nature today? It's part of one of the reasons I come to the lake house. I can just feel the mood uplift, you guys, and it's real. It's chemical. I wish we had time to go into that. So just get outside and walk as often as possible. Getting enough sleep is super important, but sadly, we don't have time to go into that tonight. We are going to focus on the single healthy habit that is showing to have the most impact, the biggest impact in the health of your brain. It's doable and it makes a critical difference. In 2009, research into diet published in Lancet in 2009 said that our diet is the #1 cause of premature death and disability. How shocking is that? We're eating ourselves to a premature death. But let's turn that around. Let's say that our diet can be the #1 factor in living a healthier, happier, longer life. I love that. And you know, the research we're going to be looking into is showing incredible improvement in reduction of anxiety, depression, ADHD, lowering your risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. And it really pays to pay attention to this. And it is focused on getting more plants in our diet. Pass the veggies, please. But therein lies the problem. Do you know that the recommendation now is 9 to 13 servings a day? Because people that they have seen, the research has shown that it makes such an incredible difference, and that our produce is actually losing a lot of its nutrition in the transportation of the produce, and it's being picked before it's vine ripened. And so there is a problem of getting the phytonutrition, the plant chemistry, getting enough, wide variety. It can cross the blood-brain barrier. Plants are designed for the body, and whether you believe in creation and that God made the garden and then he made humans perfectly suited to eat a wide variety, mostly raw plants, or you just believe the science. You know, the science says the same thing. So 35 years ago, I went back to college because we were having some serious health issues. My husband, was gaining weight, the belly fat that is really detrimental to your health. My daughter had eczema. One of my daughters would not eat many plants at all without a big fight. And she was always the daughter to bring the virus home. And so it was a fight with my family. I don't know about you, but for some people, it's just difficult to get enough plants in. And honestly, to eat 9 to 13 every day, I'd be in the kitchen all day long, right? So we did find a simple solution that you're going to see is absolutely proven to make a huge difference. But I want to first hear from that pediatric clinical pharmacist, Katie Keenan, what brought her to this journey of being on the Zoom. Katie?
Thanks, Debbie. So 10 years ago, I was 24 years old in my last year of pharmacy school, working on a presentation when my anxiety hit an all-time high. My heart started racing to the point I was scared it wouldn't slow down, and I couldn't get my mind to focus on anything. It was going all over in so many places. I hadn't been to the doctor in several years since my pediatrician had told me I needed to find an adult doctor. And so I finally made an appointment that week. At that appointment, I was not only officially diagnosed with anxiety and migraines, which I was expecting, but also high blood pressure. At the time, I thought this was normal. Most of my family struggles with high blood pressure, and my mom also struggled with migraines. But I was desperate for a quick fix. And luckily, at that time, there was one option, propranolol, that was going to help with all three things. And while it did help, it also made me so tired all the time that I remember just thinking I could barely function because I was so tired. And so this was not ideal or okay as a pharmacy student in the last year of pharmacy school, trying to prepare for residency. And so because of this fatigue, I was pretty non-compliant. I just tried to manage my anxiety and the migraines the best I could on my own and with as needed medications. When I moved to Memphis and started residency, I saw a few different doctors and tried several other medications, but they all just made me feel terrible and really affected the way I functioned. Even the Aznitamin for my migraine, I really don't like taking it. And I still hadn't been able to keep my blood pressure under control. Fast forward several years, I was realizing that I really needed to start working on just getting healthier. I was seeing more and more on clean eating and the role nutrition could play, but I had always thought that I could just work out a bad diet. And I was realizing that wasn't the case. But as I looked at trying to look into nutrition and taking control of that, I became really overwhelmed. They say that it's like learning a new language, and they're right. But I noticed a former pharmacy preceptor posting about simple lifestyle changes she was making, and she was making it look very easy and manageable. So I reached out. She introduced me to raw fruits and vegetables in capsules and gummies. And at first, I honestly thought it was either a gimmick or just too good to be true. But when she introduced me to the extensive research supporting it with high quality, peer reviewed publications done by major universities, as a pharmacist, I was sold. Unfortunately, due to my history of being non-compliant, I wasn't super compliant with taking these fruit and veggie gummies daily, even though they're delicious. Obviously, I know as a pharmacist, if you want to see any of the proven benefits of anything, a medication or fruits and vegetables, you actually have to take it and be consistent with it. Thankfully, I was very consistent with making sure my daughter always got hers. I had really fallen out of taking these fruits and vegetables and fallen out of a healthy lifestyle. And then the pandemic hit, and living through that really opened my eyes to the declining health we're seeing in America, and just the lack of focus from healthcare professionals on prevention strategies and things we can control, like nutrition. I knew that if I wanted to help make a change, I had to start with myself first. So I finally doubled down. I put reminders in my phone and became serious, not only about my own personal compliance, but also about sharing this blessing with others to try and help them get healthy, but also to stay healthy. At this time, I finally made the leap to add our full spectrum plant-based omega to my regimen, and I consumed a complete shake daily. After just 1 month, I noticed a huge difference. I noticed I was thinking more clearly, and that a brain fog had lifted I didn't even realize was there. That's not something ideal to have as a pharmacist. I had more energy to keep up with my 3-year-old, weight was coming off, and I realized that I was feeling significantly less anxious than I used to. Now, almost a year and a half later, I still have so much mental clarity, currently 26 weeks pregnant, and thankfully pregnancy brain is a thing of my last pregnancy and not this one. And I am also so excited that migraine medication that I don't like taking, I haven't had to refill it in over a year. And I used to call every month to see if my insurance would cover it because I had already ran out. I know in some cases, as a pharmacist, I appreciate that medications are absolutely necessary and unavoidable, and I respect that, but I've also learned to appreciate the importance of nutrition and flooding our bodies with a variety of plants each and every day. I know as a busy mama that that's near impossible. It just seems undoable. So I am so thankful that I was introduced to this before my daughter was born, and she's been able to have them in her entire life. It is my mission and my heart that every single child can have that same opportunity. And for that, I absolutely love the fact that we have a program called Healthy Starts, where children over 4 can get these amazing fruits and gummies for free. Our family, including my very skeptical husband, will never go another day without him again.
Oh, Katie, I love that. And I love your beautiful daughter. Hey, sweetheart. I am so thankful that you had a mama's heart and a pharmacist's brain to move you forward in compliance. If we can just get a pharmacist to actually take their capsules, they're going to get the results. Now, I really hate to ask this, but I'm going to ask this. What, in your 10 years of being a pediatric pharmacist, what have you seen happening to children's mental health?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have noticed in my experience over the last 10 years, a significant increase in the number of patients, and honestly, even personal family members that are being diagnosed with things like anxiety and depression and ADHD. at younger and younger ages. I was curious, so I actually looked up some of the statistics, and what I found was astounding. And children's mental health is in crisis. According to the CDC, 1 in 6 children between the ages of 2 to 8 has a mental, behavioral, or development disorder. Visits for children diagnosed with pediatric bipolar disorder increased 40-fold from 1994 to 2003, and diagnosis of ADHD increased by 80% from 1980 to 2007. And if we look specifically at our adolescent children, 1 in 3 report feeling sad or hopeless. Teens experiencing major depressive episodes increased by more than 50% from 2010 to 2015, and 1 in 5 seriously considered attempting suicide. This breaks my heart for our children. Through my work as a pediatric pharmacist, I've seen evidence of this anecdotally. Part of my job is reviewing, I work at a hospital, so my hospital clinical pharmacist is reviewing home medications, and there's been a noticeable increase in the number of patients who are receiving antidepressants, antipsychotics, stimulants, and other medications like that. These medications, they're very important and vital role, but they're not benign, and they come with a long list of side effects. While the causality of these issues is complex and multifactorial, one of the factors that I've realized we can be focusing on, and actually more and more literature is coming out about, is the link between fueling our body and therefore our brain well with good nutrition, and the impact it has on our brain and mental health. Unfortunately, this is not something we learn.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Cindy.
sorry. This is not something we learn. This is not something we learn about in pharmacy school. I even did a recent continuing education program specifically on mental health, and the role of nutrition wasn't even mentioned. That's why I've become more passionate about learning more about this topic and sharing simple ways to improve our nutrition each day.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying not to tear up. That is some eye-opening information, and what I want, how I want us to use that is to drive us to change that as much as is possible. You guys, thank you, Katie. And thank you, sweetheart. She has not stopped eating the gummies since you gave them to her.
That was actually the omegas.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's chewing the omega capsule. Okay, really interesting. I love that. Okay, thank you, Katie. That was excellent. I just love your passion, and I understand your passion. Brain health is mental health, and there is a lot we can do. The number one thing we can control is what we are feeding our brain. And like Katie said, there's so much research coming out. It's pouring out, and I'm so thankful for it. We just got to get the word out that it's plants, fruits, vegetables, berries, and omegas that our brain, every cell in your body was designed to function best on a wide variety. If you can remember a few words, it's variety, raw, daily. Okay, and so there are over 20,000 known phytonutrients in the rainbow. The colors are created by the chemicals, the phytoplant chemicals. So the colors are important. With each additional color you can add, you add a different combination. And what we're seeing is it's the synergy is the power. Your brain is the most complex structure in the universe. Doesn't it deserve your best self-care? I mean, so there is so much research. I could go for hours. We're going to try to do this in 30 minutes. So there was a British study in 2013 showing that the more servings of fruits and vegetables that you consume, the happier you would be more likely. Why to become and stay? Why is that? Well, it feeds. We're going to go into detail a little bit of detail on that in a second, but it increases the serotonin delivery, which is your happy chemical. Okay. It decreases your risk of depression and anxiety, improves cognitive function and memory. And I really want you to think about this serotonin production. While about 75 to 90% is made in your gut, So it's important what you're putting in your gut, the gut-brain connection. Some is made in the brain. And do you know that it is very difficult for tryptophan, the amino acid that helps, is a building block. It's part of a protein that is a building block to develop serotonin. It is very difficult to get it through the blood-brain barrier, but when you increase fruits and vegetables, it helps that move into the brain. You guys, serotonin is so, so important. And so there's been research on oxidative stress and the reduction of Alzheimer's. Why is Alzheimer's skyrocketing? They are saying now part of it is our diet. And what are the best foods? I don't want you to limit yourself to these plants, but what are the top ones for brain health? Berries, greens, and omega fatty acids. Eat more plants. Why are omega fatty acids so critical? Okay, do you see this top? This is the membrane, the skin of your cells, and the eyes and the brain have to have a large percentage of omega fats to function and age well. If you don't have enough omega fats in this outer lining, the membrane of your eyes and brain, they will shrink. They will literally shrink and they will not function as well. Here's the difference. This is a typical standard American diet. The membrane is made up almost entirely of saturated fat. Saturated fat is impermeable. It's stiff. Think Crisco, okay? This lower is a membrane, the brain cell, the outer lining, made up of more omega fat. Omega fat is flexible. It's permeable. It allows nutrition to get in. It allows serotonin and dopamine to enter. They are a deliverer. They are neurotransmitters of your emotional state. I want you to hang on to that. Don't you want them to be able to get into your brain? And it also allows waste to be more easily removed. So your brain is ideally made up of 60% long chain omega-3 fatty acid, but not in America. In America, 90% of Americans are seriously deficient in omegas. 20% have no discernible omega-3 in their blood. It's really easy to test. 20% have no omegas in their blood. That's pretty scary. Okay, look at this research at Oxford Durham, giving children, this is one child's example of just giving them omega-3s for 1 month. Look at how much better they can write. You can actually read the text on the right. And Dr. Bill Sears, America's most beloved pediatrician, in his book, the NDD book, he has nicknamed it nutrition deficit disorder, not ADHD. Nutrition deficit. Kids are deficit. They have a great deficiency in what we need. And what they need. Multiple studies have shown improved memory, attention, learning, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. Omega-3 fatty acids offer great promise as a suitable adjunctive therapy for ADHD. Dr. Sears says, try nutrition first. Yes, in emergency situations, I'm with Katie. You know, there's a time and place for drugs, but why does America go to drugs first? You know, when it's not an emergency. Let's try nutrition. And so 18 years ago, I was frustrated with my family. I was frustrated with my fitness clients. I could not get any of them to eat enough plants to make a real difference. We were the healthiest eaters I knew, but I was doing great to get 5 different plants in my family every day, and that was not enough. And so my sister introduced me to this whole food concentrate. And quite frankly, I was so skeptical. I thought it was a multivitamin, and multivitamins have totally lost favor in the nutritional world. Does your multivitamin have thousands of nutrients? Like an apple, a lowly apple has been discovered to have over 400 nutrients. Just an apple can blow a multivitamin away. What if you were getting 35 plants every day, raw, every day, variety? This is why the Juice Plus is the #1 selling natural encapsulated whole food concentrate in the world, because of the variety and the extreme quality controls. They inspect the farms, they dictate the seeds, the farmers have to sign a contract that they are vine ripened, and once it's picked, it will get into oxygen-free environment. And on some of the farms, it's in under 6 hours. This is potent produce, you guys, and it is the only product in the world. Okay, it's not even considered a supplement. It has a whole food label. It's considered a whole food concentrate. So it's not a vitamin, but there is no vitamin. There is no other supplement. There is nothing with the prescription or without a prescription that is proven and published in top medical nutrition and sports journals to do all of this. Glance down that list of the protection that Juice Plus has been proven to do in the human body. I want to focus very briefly. Oh, I'd love to go into this study, but in 2021, the research came out on our product, on Juice Plus, and cognitive function in a healthy population. What could it do for people in a less healthy population? It showed in 16 weeks, you guys, 16 weeks, significant improvement in short-term memory, verbal and nonverbal memory, working memory, selective and sustained attention, and processing speed. Anyone want their family to be able to pay attention better and to think clearer and faster? I'll take it. And then the omega-3 study, you guys, the omega-3, it's only been out for a little over 3 years. And the only thing they've had time to do the research on is how well it's absorbed. That is the first studies you always want to do. Is the body absorbing it? Oh, is it? It's absorbing it like a sponge. But first, I want to give you a little background. It took over 5 years of research to develop this fishless vegan omega. We do not need the fish. The fish is just a carrier. We are overfishing the ocean, where a huge amount of that fishing goes to cooking the fish and squeezing the oil out. And they do not make the omega. They are eating the algae. So Juice Plus was smart enough to go to the cleanest, longest growing algae farm in Hawaii. So we don't need the fish. It's a total waste. And you are risking ocean toxins and rancidity when you consume a fish omega. But it's full spectrum. It's so much more than just 3. Just like I think it's been proven that variety is so critical in plants, it is being seen that we need 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And so pomegranate, raspberry seed, and the toughest plant on the planet, sea buckthornberry. These are powerful plants included in our omega. Just real quickly, baseline, okay? These are the baseline. I hope you can see my arrow. This group were on placebo. This group were on 2 omegas. This group were on the quad, the 35 plants, the huge variety. This group were on 4 omegas, double the dose. It's perfectly safe, but they just recommend 2 omegas a day. Okay, So in 16 weeks, the group on 2 omegas increased. Oh, let me back up. Most Americans, their omega-3 index, it's very easy to check, is at a 4. A 4. To be minimally healthy, you need it at an 8. Okay. In 16 weeks, this group went from right at a 7 to an 11, you guys, an 11. The group on 4 omegas went to a 14, that orange bar. But here's what I really hope you can hang on to. The group that just took 2 omegas, this group, okay, but they added the fruit, veg, and berry, theirs went to a 13. They weren't taking more omegas. They were absorbing it better. So it appears that the thousands of phytonutrients in the fruit, veg, and berry were increasing the absorption. And that makes so much sense from what we know. Juice Plus is not about treating or curing specific diseases. We're not making those claims. We don't know exactly what it's going to do in your body, but the research shows it's going to do a lot of good. Only your body and God will, time will tell. But we are saying it's super healthy plant-based nutrition. It delivers a powerful punch, and it's supported by over 20 years of independent clinical research. There is no other product on the planet with this much proof of efficacy of such an easy delivery system for massive amounts of plants. So what happened to our family when we added the fruit, veg, and berry years ago? My husband's insulin resistance greatly decreased. His joint pain greatly improved. His taste, his cravings changed, because you know what you feed your gut is what you eventually end up craving. He lost 35 pounds in the first year. This is not weight loss. This is feed your gut what it needs, and it will start craving better things. And my daughter's eczema greatly improved. That middle picky daughter, her immune system improved so much. My pediatrician wanted to know what we had done, and she ordered for her and her son. But when we added this omega 3.5 years ago, I thought I was getting enough omegas. I was eating a lot of chia and flax and walnuts. That's a different kind of omega, you guys. That's ALA. It's great for the heart, but doesn't seem to do a lot for the brain. You need EPA and DHA, and you can convert ALA, but it's a really inefficient conversion. You have to eat a huge amount of chia and flax. So I thought I was getting enough omega, and lo and behold, when we added this, within 2 weeks, my husband, who his elbow had started hurting, inflammation, he had cut down 500 trees that year, and we were 15 years older. You need more protection as you get older, okay? And so his joints improved even more. My hair shine came back. That's so secondary. What really happened is quite spectacular. My vision improved so much that I rarely ever need my readers anymore. I'll be 64 this month. That's not typical, but it is healthy. Okay. And what is more important to me is that my anxiety, when I didn't tell you this at the beginning, but my husband used to tell me I was way too anxious, and I would tell him I have things to be anxious about. What I didn't know is that I probably had impermeable cell membrane, and possibly I was not making enough serotonin. And my anxiety, I noticed it during the pandemic, was lower than it had been in years as an adult. You guys, that's not typical, but I sure welcome it. And I have a family member, a dear family member, that had suffered greatly with depression and when she was quite young, and antidepressants had an extremely negative effect on her. I know you probably know 1/3 of the people it helps, 1/3 it does nothing, 1/3 it can make depression worse. That's why all the warnings about suicide are on all the ads. Pay attention to those. And she has done beautifully. She will not go without this omega. You guys, who do you love that needs this information? The power is in the plant, you guys. The power is in the plant. So if you could mute out, we're going to stop the recording. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time.
Hey guys, wow. Let me tell you what I learned, okay? Because this is like the third time I've watched this. I learned that increasing fruits and vegetables helps serotonin and dopamine cross the blood-brain barrier wall. Right there, that nugget alone is so profound. I learned that fruits and vegetables help with the absorption of omegas. I learned that 90% of Americans are deficient. 90% of Americans are deficient in omegas, and 20% of Americans have 0 omegas in their blood. Whoa, that's what I learned. I mean, okay, so this is, you can find this. I find a lot of great resources on the Facebook page called Recordings. Most of you are on there. And Amy Hopkins, I saw that you wanted to share this. You might already be a member of Recordings, but I will go in and tag you under this so that you can have it. And if you can't find it and if you want to share it, please reach out. And I will make just the link. You don't have to send them the link of our program here, but I can send you just the link of Debbie Walton's amazing program. So this goes back to what I said in the beginning. These kind of lectures, this kind of information helps me to remember why I said yes 29 years ago. Because 29 years ago, I had a passion, an obsession. I was what Jay Martin said, I was obsessed about wanting to share the Juice Plus message. And that's what these kinds of health lectures remind me, that I think as a community, we have to obsess again. We have to obsess again. We have to bring our preferred customer numbers up. We have to share this information, because as we bring our preferred customer numbers up, there's the new reps that'll come on board and want to partner with us and share this kind of education. So I would recommend, let this be the message that you listen to as you're driving around your community this week. And maybe once a week, I'll send you something new that you can listen to so that your car can become your Juice Plus University again. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and say what they learned or what kind of wins you're having this week so that we can celebrate you? And remember, sign up for conference, because at the end of the month, I'm going to pull 2 names and pay for their conference tickets. So anybody have anything they want to share? Don't keep me hanging.
I think, Terry, just that kids are getting not just physically sick, but mentally. That is a horrible thing to even think about.
What were those stats, Judy? 1 out of 6 children.
I didn't write them all down, but when she was saying those, I was just thinking about all the kids that have to take, as a former school nurse, that were on drugs 25 years ago. And now it's much worse. Almost all kids take something.
Yeah, she said a 40-fold increase in mental health problems, a 40-fold increase. So guys, we've got a lot of work to do.
And it's free for kids.
Yeah. Okay, you were picked to deliver this message. We were picked to deliver this message. So, yeah, the diminishing mental health of our children. It's alarming. Okay, and we've got something that can help. Wasn't it great that little girl, we all thought that she was eating her soft chews or chewables? No, she's pounding back on omega capsules. Wow. Okay. All right. That's the new generation popping up. Okay, guys, I think the world of you. No call next Monday night. Celebrate the 4th. Celebrate it in style, but please be safe. And then we will be back together the following Monday. Love you. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you so
Blessings to you
much.
all. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Bye, Terry.
Good night, everybody. Good night.